This episode has been brought to you by Subject to Change Customs. Choose Subject to Change for all your custom apparel and promotional product needs. Follow them on all social media at S2C LLC and get your 4 times dope merch on their website. That's www.shops2c.com.
Yeah, we in the building. 4 times dope. Yeah, we known to get it live, man. 4 times dope. New level, keep it high, yeah. 4 times dope. Mic check, now we on it, we live.
All right. Welcome everybody to another episode of the 4 times dope podcast. It's gonna be a good one tonight. Y'all just have no idea how good it's gonna be, but.
Yeah.
Right. Before we get started, we just wanted to do just a real quick, how everybody's doing. How's your day today, Jamie? How's your day, brother?
Day's great. I'm just sitting here with Symone, chilling.
Great. Jermaine, well, how's your day, brother?
You know what? My day was awesome. All I did was get my syllabi right. My classes start next week. I worked out and rushed home to be with Symone. So here we go.
All right. Speaking of Symone, how was your day? How was your day today?
Day was restful. All I did was do laundry and clean the kitchen.
Okay, can't beat that. And my main man, Kwame, how's your day, brother?
It was good, man. Work and came here, ready to record.
All right, same here. We've been waiting for you, Symone. So yeah, we ready. So before we jump into the actual topics, something I was thinking about today as I was riding, to work, and actually I was having a conversation with Kwame. So I was like, let me see, can I just ask the group before we just dive into these topics? What is an artist that you have not heard from in the last 3 or 4 years, album or concert, that you would love to hear from now? Drop something now. Symone.
Okay, see, now, I would say, who haven't I heard from that I want to hear something from? I am a big Danielle Jones fan. I would like to bring it back, but let me tell y'all, I have heard Danielle Jones within the last 5 years, and it ain't the same. It don't compete with the track. So I want to hear old Danielle Jones.
That's a good one. Jermaine, what about you, Jermaine?
So you guys know I'm a huge hip hop fan. So I would say, well, initially I was gonna say Frankie Beverly and Maze. Like I've never seen them live, right? I love the music that they produce, but I'm a hip hop head. So I would say AZ. I've been listening to his music lately. He still has it, but I think he would be the one I think I would like to see live in a small desk concert or something like that.
Oh, tiny desk.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Right. Cool. Kwame, what about you? Who's some artists you looking forward to hearing that you're missing right now?
An album, I think there's 2 albums I'm probably waiting for. I'm waiting for Rihanna. Everybody's been waiting forever for that to drop out. So I would love her with a great album. And actually, Frank Ocean. I would.
Okay. Right.
Okay.
I think that'd be right time.
Good. JP, what about you, brother?
It's this girl group called King, and they go.
Yes.
Yeah.
War turned me on to them.
Yeah, Paris, Anita, and Amber. So Paris and Amber are sisters. Anita has since left the group, so it's just the sisters now. But listen, that is my favorite group. Check them out. We Are King.
Absolutely.
And that first album, they slow roll like Dr. Dre, just one album, but it took forever to get all the songs from them. They came on the scene and then they just dropped that album. I think it was 2013. But it took forever.
I think it was 15.
I was still waiting for more.
Oh wow.
Okay, bet.
King, yeah.
Gotcha. I had 2. One is old school, one's kind of new school. 2 artists I would love to hear from. I would love to hear something from Tevin Campbell because it's been a minute since we heard from him. So I would love to hear something from him. And also Miss Carrie Hilson. I think she's long overdue for some new music.
Right.
You agree with that, Symone?
Yeah, she can sing. We're missing singers now. Exactly. I recently talked to Clive Davis, and I was like, what up-and-coming artists are you watching? You found a lot of people. Mariah Whitney, he's like, I don't really see any talent that, sparks my interest. I was like, Clive's saying these girls can't sing. What's going on?
That's what it sounds like. He ain't lying now. There's a lot of whisperers.
Right. Singers.
Because Clive got a good ear. Clive got a real good ear.
Especially I got the ear.
All right. So before we jump into this topic, ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce our special guest for the evening. We're so happy to have her here. Speaking of, she is a native of North Omaha, Nebraska, who currently resides in Washington, D.C. She rose in 2016 as a national press secretary for the U.S. Senator Bernie Sanders' then presidential campaign. At 25, she became the youngest presidential press secretary on record and was named to Rolling Stone's magazine's list of 16 young Americans shaping the 2016 election. At 29, she published her first book, No, You Shut Up, Speaking Truth to Power and Reclaiming America. She was also appointed as a senior advisor for President Joe Biden's 2020 presidential campaign. And at 31, she was appointed as senior member of the Biden-Harris administration, serving as a deputy assistant to the president and senior advisor and chief spokesperson to Vice President Kamala Harris. Currently, like I said, she is an author and she is a seasoned Democratic strategist with her own show on MSNBC and MSNBC Peacock, self-titled Symone. Gentlemen, let's give it up for Miss Symone Sanders-Townsend.
Absolutely.
That's all.
Yeah. That's a soundbite. Okay.
Absolutely.
So, Symone, thank you for being here. Really, really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Anytime. So we're just going to jump right into this first topic. And the question is, why do people vote against their own best interests? And when I say that, I mean, for example, I have two examples, actually. You know, you have a lot of Black people who don't go out to the polls and vote. Why? Who knows? But why would you not do that when you might have a candidate who is helping try to do something that would benefit you? Or just people in general, why would you vote against a candidate who is not serving you? You know, it's not purposeful to you. Why would you do that? So why do people do that? So Symone, I wanted to ask you, what do you think the reason is for that?
So I think there's two things going on, right? Like, why do people vote against their own interests? This is like women who, when they go to the ballot box, they vote for candidates who do not support a woman's ability to make decisions about her own body when it comes to her health care. Like, if your doctor says you need an abortion, something happens, or that is the health care that's decided you need, there are politicians out there that don't support that. I think some people do that because it is tied to their values. Some of it, I think that people don't really think that some of the things that some of my Democratic friends and my progressive friends say could actually happen. And that, a lot of times people used to say folks were being dramatic. It's hyperbole when they talk about jailing women and jailing doctors. But that's exactly what is going to happen in some spaces and places now that the Dobbs decision has come down and Roe v. Wade is not the law of the land. And so I think that there's a chasm in some respects for those folks between their value systems and sets and what they actually think will happen. And for a lot of people, they say because my values, because of what I believe, I cannot support X. That is disconnected in some ways from the reality of why, i.e. what will happen if X happens. I think the other subset of people, though, that you described, folks that just don't vote, I think that it's worth having a conversation with in the community about the connection that people have with the ballot box. You know, I'm 33 years old and young, you know, I'm millennial. Okay. So young people, millennials, people have been told for eons, you know, people fought and died for your right to vote, which is true. And I have much reverence for that. But there are a large swath of people that are like, okay, great, fine. But how does the ballot box connect to me feeding my children? How does the ballot box connect to me being able to pay my rent? How does the ballot box connect to me being able to put gas into my car? And we have to really build the bridge for folks consistently, loudly and very publicly about what the politicians are doing, what happens, whether it's Washington, D.C. or in your mayor's office, does absolutely directly affect your life.
Got it. Very well spoken. Okay. Kwame, what about you? What's your thoughts on this topic?
Mine is very simple. I think some people, it's racism. So that's an easy thing to say, but I think a lot of it is that some people might vote against their best, not their best interest, because it's like, okay, well, this particular person look different than I am, and I follow another group, a group of people who I guess I can relate to, but the issues is not really, affording me the opportunities, to kind of basically just to support me and my family. So I think a lot of times it's just like, well, I think a lot of people have a hard time, voting for people who are Black, or people who might be also, it might be even sexual orientation. So if it's different than what they, I guess, grew up, no matter what the issue is, they overlook that part and just kind of like, go against the grain with that. Some of it's ignorance, of course, willfulness or non-willfulness, ignorance. And that people are just blind followers. I mean, some, they grew up a certain way. I was always Republican. I was always whatever, independent, whatever it is. And it's like, they're not really looking at the issues. They're looking at like how I grew up. They don't change from that. Right. So that would be my quick synopsis of that.
Gotcha. JP, what you think?
I think it's simple as hate. Like, I hate you so much that I'll cut my nose off to spite my face. And I know it's against my best interest, but I'll do it anyway, which is the craziest thing ever. If you think about the history of America, a lot of stuff has been to the white persons. You give you just clear or quick synopsis. Like, we will close these pools down to not let Black people have fun. Right. And it's like, we'll do it to spite ourselves. So it's hate. I would do it to hate you and hurt myself in the
process of it.
Yeah. It's like, I'll do it anyway. It's sad, but true. Now, when it comes to voting, we've been lulled into this fog to believe that voting doesn't matter. So my vote won't count. I mean, if you wanted to, you could say, all right, in Durham, North Carolina, we're going to have ice cream on Fridays if we vote for it. Well, you got to vote for it. Otherwise, it won't happen. It's what you legislate. But, getting the layman to understand that is also hard. It's penetration, too. It's like, look, these are the things that can happen if you do it. Most people just don't want to believe it because they've been lulled into this fog to believe that it won't happen.
Okay, sounds good.
Is the question, why do white people vote against their own interests? No. Because that's how y'all answering the question.
Well, I'm answering it that way. By and large, they don't even vote. And it's like, why don't you vote? Well, I've been lulled into believe that my vote doesn't matter, so I'm not going to vote at all.
Talking about Black folks. Talking about Black folks, right?
Black folks, yeah. White folk vote by and large.
I think look, Black voters are the most reliable voters on this planet, okay? Like, truly. And so I think that when we talk about who votes, I think the reality is older people vote by and large across the board, white, Black, Latino. Right. Young people, we are reliably unreliable when it comes to the consistency at the ballot box. But when we do show up, it makes a difference.
Right.
Yeah.
That's true. Jermaine, what do you think, brother?
So I think I'm gonna echo something that Symone and Jamie just said. I think, well, two quick reasons. One, and I'm gonna base this first reason off my mother family from the South. My mother's from North Carolina, from the South. And I just remember, I'm being a little kid, I remember vividly my mom and my aunts and the older folks saying, well, my vote doesn't count, I'm not gonna vote, or whatever the case may be. And you know what, I accredit that to like, there's just being this disconnect between Black folks and their rights and voting in the South. I think geographically too, I think that plays a role in what you've been taught about voting. It's a lot of heavy lifting, right? To go out and vote, and then you come back and you don't see any results, or nothing's trickling down. At that point, it's psychological too. And the other thing, I think, in terms of people, I just think some folks are just not privy of the voting process, the whole process. And here's the thing too, sometimes with Black folks, you got to show us first before we do something, right? I need to see, before I invest in this chapstick, I need to see your return, and then I'll invest in it. And I think sometimes, and rightfully so in some cases, I think sometimes folks it's almost like faith, right? Believing in the unseen and things like that. I think some folks need to tangibly see change before they buy into it. And that can go either way. And that's just kind of, and again, I base that off of just things I heard growing up and my folks in the South, say when it came to voting and things like that, which can be a big mistake, right? All right. So quickly.
Before I got one question. Can I? You mind if I interject?
No, go ahead.
No. So before we move to the next topic, Symone, I just wanted to get your take on this real quick because I've been hearing you speak lately about this topic. So I just wanted to hear your position or how you feel about the whole Kevin McCarthy situation. Like, what is your?
It was chaos. Oh my gosh! Like the people don't respect you. You can't continue to look. Speaker McCarthy bent the knee to Donald Trump so many times. Like it's a lot. I think it is a lot. There's a lack of respect. Not to say that the same divisions did not exist on the Democratic side of the aisle, or still do, frankly, for Democrats, right? When folks said that Hakeem Jeffries was likely going to be the next leader of the Democratic caucus, there are a lot of progressives that were like, oh, he got to earn our vote. But if you'll note, by the time December rolled around and before those Democrats went home, Hakeem Jeffries, the caucus was in order and he was their undisputed leader. Ain't no way in hell that you could get on the floor and what unfolded the last week that unfolded, 15 different votes. It is embarrassment. There were members that were willing to allow Kevin McCarthy to be embarrassed. And I think that's going to make it very difficult for him going forward.
Absolutely. Which will be a mistake. And speaking of mistakes, quickly, I want to shift real quick, y'all. And Symone, I'm gonna push it to you first. And you can just lead us through this. So the topic is, or the question is, what is the best mistake you ever made in your life? Or one of the best mistakes you've ever made in your life?
I was thinking about this earlier today, and I'm like, I can't think of a good mistake.
Talk about it.
The mistakes that I made, they've been mistakes, honey. They've been mistakes. I have learned from them, right? But I don't know these people out here that's like, ooh, I thought it was a mistake, but it turned out to set me up for greatness. No. It was a mistake. I learned. I got my hands smashed. I got burnt on the stove. I don't have a good mistake that I made, okay?
Right.
I don't have one of those. Do y'all have a good mistake? Someone please let me know.
Well, you know, Symone, you know what? I do. You know what? One of the mistakes I made, dating somebody who I know I shouldn't have been dating. Period. Point blank. Well, okay. So I learned so much about.
Mistake, ain't it?
No. I learned so much about narcissism first and foremost, and how to point out these subtle signs when folks try to suppress those characteristics. I learned so much about that, honestly, and it's really helped me to dodge a couple strays as I push past that situation. But that and I mean that with all sincerity. Like I really learned from that particular mistake. And let me back up. Let me
was that the best mistake though? Was that the best?
No, that wasn't the best. It was
Well, give us your best then. Yeah, Symone and I are on one side of the fence. So y'all on one side.
One of my best mistakes. That's one I can think of right now. That's a good mistake I made that I can think of. Not my best, but a good one that I can think of.
Okay. Jamie, what about you?
Nigga, you gonna act?
Well, you can ask me then.
Please, Kwame.
Yeah, so it's a play on words, basically. So basically, it's something that you think you didn't think was gonna go right, but actually it went in your favor. And I think for myself, at the time when I was trying to select colleges, I had my mind set on going to actually Fayetteville State University, and the reasons were actually dumb, but because it was the first school that accepted me, and at the time where I wanted to go there, whatever. My dad kind of forced me, like, well, you need to go to North Carolina Central. You got family nearby. And at the time, my parents was out of state. So in my mind, I wasn't making my own decision. And I felt like it was a mistake that, that I wasn't going to the school that I wanted to go to. And I didn't have no expectations of going to North Carolina Central University. But once I arrived there and I thought about how dead set I didn't want to go,
right,
it was one of the best things that ever happened to me.
Right.
Okay.
Like, I met lifelong friends. As far as getting an education, just joining my whole time there, just being part of a great university. So in my mind, it's like, okay, this is not what I wanted. I thought I wanted, but in the day, it's the best thing for me. And I didn't even know it. So
yes. Now I can get with that, Kwame. In my opinion, though, that's not a mistake. That is, I mean, that is a decision that you made that at the time you did not realize that this was actually that, you had a plan, but it was a bigger plan. And aren't we all glad that the bigger plan worked out?
Yeah. That's why it's a play on words, but yeah.
Okay. It's
right.
Okay.
That makes sense.
James, that makes sense. You ready to rock?
All right, here we go. So I think the best
Got a
No,
best mistake,
Kwame.
but okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with it, Symone. Here we go. So my roommate, when I was a freshman, he left and went back home. He was a mama's boy. He left. So Mr. Cox said, "Look, you got to pick a new roommate. You got the two guys at the end of the hall. They were both freshmen like myself, or this 24-year-old man across the hall, and I'm 18. Only thing he had in his room was a crate of books and a pennant that said Omega Psi Phi." And I said, "Okay, I do want to be a Q." And these guys got as much shit in their room as I got in mine. So, okay, I'm gonna go ask this old ass man to be my roommate. He's 6'5" and black as night. And I said, "Hey, Mr. Cox said we could be roommates." He said, "Okay." So we moved Kevin's books. That's all I had, a crate of books and a pennant in my room, and we were roommates. That's the best decision / mistake I've made, because he still be beating me up every time I see him. But I am his chapter bruh, and he taught me all the stuff I needed to know about being a Q. So that's the best mistake, I think, because I could have easily picked a roommate and moved all their shit in my room and let this man be a
grown man by himself.
He was finishing up. He had like one semester left because he done Q-dogged everything up. So like I got one semester to go, so I'll just come back and live on campus. So
hey, yo, you remember when he used to put both of us in the headlock at the same time when I used to come to the room?
Yeah.
What?
Extra grown man. We like 18.
Yeah. So that's my best. I think that's my best mistake, because clearly it worked out.
Right.
Got it. All right. Kwame King.
I already
Oh,
went.
I didn't go.
You didn't go.
Oh, it's
you didn't go.
You didn't go.
Oh, that's right. I sure did.
Give
I
us
don't
your
have.
best.
This is crazy because it sounds crazy to even say. I don't think it's a mistake, but it's the best decision I ever made. Like, I was somebody who did not know if I wanted children. I did not care if to have them. It wasn't I didn't want them or wanted them. I was just like, I ain't thinking about that.
Yeah, you
I
can
ain't
be
thinking
that way.
about that. That's like the last thing on my mind. And I could not fathom them not being a part of my life. It's the best decision I made.
Right.
And the second part of that is the best decision to have two, because I was dead set on one is it. I'm one and done. But I was convinced to have two, and now those were the best decisions I could have ever made in my entire life.
Right. Gotcha.
Apple your eye.
Like everybody else answered. As I was sitting here with y'all, I think my best mistake was when I first cut my hair, or when I first cut my hair short like this. I was getting a hard line, the hard line.
With the moon part, right, Symone?
I didn't have a part at the time. It was just a hard line.
Right.
It was a hard. It wasn't good. I'm looking back at the photos. But the day, Facebook be showing you a couple years ago, and I'm looking at every time the pictures pop up. I'm like, the worst thing I could have did was let those people put that hard line in my head. The best thing though I ever did was cut. So that's why it was the best mistake. The hard line is absolutely terrible, but the shortcut, it works for me. We just had to get the line together.
There you go.
That's a good one.
It's a real good one.
Yeah, absolutely. And let me echo this too. I don't think I know. Not going to Lenore Ryan where I signed and going to North Carolina Central. I think that was one of the best decisions I made too. When you talk about lifelong friends and chicken day on Wednesday, we wouldn't have got chicken wings, right? But NCCU.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Yeah. So talking about like friends and how to support them. I don't know where exactly I heard this from, but it had me thinking like, how do you support like a friend or a family member that you feel is making a wrong life decision, that you in your gut that you really feel like they're making a real bad decision for themselves, but at the same time you don't want to be discouraging and you're trying to be supportive? How do you navigate a situation like that? I don't know if someone you want to go first or.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think it depends on what kind of person you're dealing with, right? Like you have to know the family member or the friend that you were talking to intimately enough to how far you can push them. I'm the kind of person that, I need to do a test. If we go into a girls group chat or my sister, my brother calling. I need somebody to give me a primer before we get there because I need to know how is this. I need to listen and be like, and then wait for my opinion to be asked for. If my opinion is never asked for, I do not give it. Or it is a place where we need to come in a little hot because we really trying to save our friend or our family. But like, I just really think you have to take the temperature of the person that you are around. I also think though, a lot of times this veers into when we are talking about relationships, right? With friends or family members, and they are with someone they are with someone that maybe nobody cares, nobody around them cares for. Or they're in a situation with the person that people have seen maybe doing nefarious things or heard about it. And I always think if you're going to deliver somebody bad news or potentially contentious news about a relationship that you are not a part of, and you care about this person, the question I ask myself, maybe an unpopular question, is, are they going to act on this information or is it just going to cause
problems? Right. Glad you said
that. If it's only going to cause problems, honey, I don't know nothing about your man at the grocery store with that blonde girl.
That's a good parameter, though. Yeah,
it is. It is.
That's all right. Jamie, what about yourself?
It's a couple of things. One, if it's some shit I already told you about and you're gonna do it anyway, I got to walk with you and watch you fuck up and be like, I told you, don't do it. And then I look at you. I will sit with you and watch it burn, because I'm not here to give you this wisdom and you negate it. So I will happily walk with you and watch it burn. Now, if it's something that we're gonna figure it out together, and I don't think you should do it, that's just me being conservative. It's kind of one of them things where it's like, well, we'll figure it out as we go. I don't know. And
hold on, I got a question.
Okay.
So because I want to be clear on what you're saying. So if I'm doing something crazy or in a crazy situation
and I told
whatever,
you not to do it.
Okay. But you see it's not right and you see where it could be going. Are you saying you won't tell me, you just like to watch it burn, or you will tell me?
I already cussed you out 10 times. I told you stop doing that shit.
Okay.
But I'm gonna walk and be like, well, since you like crack cocaine, here's some right here. Try this.
No.
I gotta let them know, Symone. I told you. I'm a I told you so kind of guy. I told you.
You are that guy. Yes, you are. And we appreciate
told you
that
don't
about
do
you.
Do you have an example of that, Jamie? Offhand, or you don't have to, but I'm just curious. Like something like
I told my sister, do not join the military. Her dumbass wouldn't join the military, and it didn't work out.
Oh,
I said, don't do that. What the fuck? Don't do that.
Yeah,
it didn't work out.
Everybody like, okay.
No, I said, Amber, don't go fucking to the damn Navy.
The military has worked out for some people, but you knew it was gonna work out for your sister.
I knew it was. It's my sister. It's not like a cousin. Hey, let's not do that. We're not built that way. Some people are built that way into the system, and know how to run it. We aren't. We're not that family. We're cerebral people. We don't take command really well. And post 35, 30, whatever, it's like you're not built for it. You're not where you should be. You should have done that when you're 20 in your 20s.
Oh, as a timing too when she went. Oh,
it's timing. Not like you should do it at 10. 20. It was much post college. It's like I don't think you want to do that.
Right. Gotcha.
And I don't care to be right. Like, yo, this is the actual answer. This is not it.
Cheryl, about yourself.
I don't think for me, it's not hard to do, especially if I truly rock with you and we like that. I don't think I have a problem telling you. I think it's about how and when I should tell you. You know what I mean? For example, Kwame, you were dating somebody who you had got engaged to, and we saw things prior to, but it was kind of like, okay, maybe we'll just put, sometimes you pacify things. Oh, it'll get better. Maybe this is just an isolated situation, but things kept continuing to happen. So it was one of the hardest for me. It was hard to let you know that, like, I don't think this. I really don't think this. I know, this is something you want. I don't think this is it. And to the point I had to talk to other people about it. Like, yo, like, what should we do? How should we tell him? Like, so I was just like, what, I gotta tell him. Where he chooses to do it is on him. But I would not. It didn't sit right with me not just to sit back and not say nothing. Mm-hmm. So I had to. Was it hard? Yes, but I cared enough that I had to let him know.
Yeah, well, I mean, I feel like I handled it pretty well. I mean, hindsight, it was the right.
You handled it right. Yeah, I handled it well.
Hindsight was the right, right thing. But like when you in it, you don't see it, of course. You know what I'm saying? And it's just so funny because I've done the same thing with other friends too. Where I'm like, she is horrible for you. She not the, I can give you examples why it's not the case. Then, like you said, and you got to say it in a loving, caring way and be supportive, even when they decided not to go against whatever you think is right. Because like, we're not really in a relationship, and we don't really know how it's going to turn out. We only going on feelings and what we see. You're a friend, a family member. I hope I'm wrong, and then the hope that it works out the best for you. But sometimes you just kind of see the writing on the wall, and you just like, yo, Jermaine, what about you, man?
I think you said something and Symone said something. I think first and foremost, I know for me, and this is something recently happened, but you got to kind of check the temperature to see how forceful you need to come in on the situation. And I think part of that is evaluating how committed to their foolishness are they. You know what I mean? Because some folks are really committed to whatever foolishness they got going on. You got to evaluate it. And, part of it, this is the hard part for me. Sometimes, man, when folks make these bad decisions, you got to really still stand by them because on their path of life, that may have been what they felt like they needed to do. We're not on the same path. So we can't crucify folks from our path perspective when they're on their different path. So for me, that's part of just like checking people's temperature, seeing how committed to their foolishness they are. And then sometimes my mother used to tell me this, like, man, sometimes the best advice is letting folks burn through their own experiences. Because at that point, you can say it may not resonate as strong, or it may fall on deaf ears. But when life handles them, then it's like, okay, damn, this is what they was telling me, or this is what they were trying to suggest I do. But now now in 2023 especially, but now in my mindset where I am now, as passionate as I am about the folks who I love in my circles, my friend, you guys, and my family, I still believe that, we all make decisions based upon what we feel is right at that time, despite on how it looks to other people. And sometimes you just got to fall back and let them folks, give them your advice, right? From the heart. But sometimes you just got to let folks do them on their path. And then hopefully it's not too much of a decision where they can't be pulled back. You know what I mean? Because I think at the end of the day, people know you mean well. So that makes sense.
I'm just thinking about the fact that we are having this conversation about this particular topic under the belief that the advice that we would all give the person is correct and that it would not work out for them. And I think that I've definitely had experiences where I have given my opinion to a friend, a recent experience. A friend came saying, didn't even ask for my opinion, actually, telling me that they were about to do something. And I was like, why would you do that? I don't think you should do that. It's not going to work out well for you. They were talking about running for an office. I'm like, I really don't think you have why this? There's some other things you could do. And I think we are very concerned that you're going to jump out here and lose again. And the friend went on to win their primary, almost get right up under the thing. I think there are a lot of factors on why my friend ended up losing, but I had to say, after the friend won the primary, I called the friend. I said, I want you to know that you proved a lot of people wrong this time, myself included. And I'm not too big of a person to say when I was not correct.
I agree with you.
I agree with you too, Symone.
Probably both folds into your best mistake.
My best mistake, telling my friends to run for office. And mess around and became the Democratic nominee.
Right.
I love it. Right. Well, we're going to move into our dose of dopeness. And it's, of course, a former senior advisor and chief spokesperson for Vice President of the United States and MSNBC host of Symone, Miss Symone Sanders-Townsend. So, Symone, please enlighten our listeners on your history, what you got going on, and what you're gonna be looking forward to in 2023.
Oh, well, I'm just happy to be here with you guys. I'm Symone. I am from North Omaha, Nebraska, and I've been doing politics since I can remember. So when we were talking about like why people don't essentially participate in the political process, the way I got into the political process is I saw, I would watch television and wonder like why the candidates or even the people on TV would say what they were saying in the way that they were saying it. Like I saw it didn't resonate with people that look like me, young people, people who are Black, somebody from the Midwest. So that is what got me into politics because I wanted to be the person that put the message together. And I enjoyed a very fruitful political career, but also times where I said I was going to do something and folks were like, don't do that. There are people that told me not to go work for Bernie Sanders, said it would ruin my career and I would never work anywhere else again. Okay, well, those people were wrong. So I think there's something to be said about the people that care about you and love you and give you advice coming from the best place possible, that you trusting your gut and what's in front of you. And that's what I've done so many times in my career. And so now what I have the opportunity to do at MSNBC is instead of being a part of the conversation, instead of speaking on behalf of someone else, I am facilitating the conversation and I am just saying what I want to say. And given these very interesting, to say the least, political times that we are living in, times where our democracy is literally on the line, times where we have to continue to remind people that what people were fighting for in the civil rights movement did not go away, 60 years ago. It is something we are actively dealing with right now. We need to continue to press forward. That is what I get to do on my show. And in 2023, I think I am looking forward to, well, one, did y'all know that the 1619 Project is coming out it's coming out with like a movie, like a documentary style film.
And docu-series.
A docu-series. And I'm very excited about that because we are literally living in a time where people are trying to keep our history from being taught in the schools when our history is in fact America's history. So I'm very excited about that project, and I know it's going to generate conversation. So I
definitely. For sure. All right. Well, thank you for that, Ms. Symone. Thank you very, very much. Again, ladies and gentlemen, she is our dose of dopeness for this great episode. And before we wrap, I just want to give a big, huge shout out to Miss Elijah Gibbs Jones.
Yes, we love Miss Elijah.
Yes, we do.
She listens to you all. So Elijah used to be my assistant. She's now my writing associate producer. And she told me that y'all got the most popular podcast. Apparently, y'all have the North Carolina community on lock, okay? Anybody that went to school at A&T, at NCCU, they're all listening to this podcast. So they were all like, you got to do the show. And I'm like, okay, what day? So I'm glad we could connect.
Well, we are so glad to have you. We appreciate you so much again. And we just want to make sure all our listeners know where to follow you. What's your IG, your handles, Ms. Symone?
Yes. Instagram, Twitter, TikTok at Symone with a Y, D Sanders. D is in David. At Symone D Sanders on all platforms. You can also follow my show's handles on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter at Symone MSNBC. We've got really great things. I have a cool project that we are going to unveil soon, and I'm waiting on my partnership sponsor, so I can't talk about it. I can't give you the details yet.
Right.
So I will tell y'all it's something we are doing. Hopefully kicking off this weekend on my show through Black History Month, and then a similar project for Women's History Month. So stay tuned.
Awesome. Most definitely. We'll definitely be checking up on that for sure. And we want all our listeners, you know what it is, you know where to find us on all social medias, IG, Twitter, and Facebook at 4x Dope Podcast. If you have any comments, concerns, topic ideas, sponsorship, you can find us at 4x Dope Podcast at gmail.com. And always, if you want some of our great 4x Dope merchandise, you can check us at shops2c.com. The subject to change. Our boy Jamie. Yes. Yes, Symone.
Together, Jamie. Get it together, Jamie.
Yeah.
Right.
The domain name. Come on now.
Oh, no, we bought it. It's us.
Yeah, we got it. Yeah.
All
Oh
right.
no,
We're gonna make sure
We're gonna
you
send you
get
some
some, Symone. No
Right.
worries.
Oh,
We
yeah,
got you.
I see y'all with the hoodies and whatnot. So
Yeah.
I was just waiting on my care package.
stuff. You know what? It's in the mail.
We got you. No
Got
Ain't
worries. We
even
got
got
you.
there yet. It's
Yeah.
we're gonna see the tracking number.
Okay, yeah. Send it via FedEx or UPS.
Yeah.
I know y'all are going, but I just have to say I really appreciate the invitation, but also the fact that I'm assuming all y'all went to college together, and the fact that young Black men are getting together to have a conversation about everything of consequence, from relationship to politics and every single thing in between. I think we need more of it now. I know there's people out here listening, and I don't mean you and your other homeboys out there, folks, should go start a podcast. Well, some of y'all need the mic taken away in the streets, but not y'all. Not y'all. I think this is. I'm happy to see it.
Thank you. We appreciate you so much. And until the next time, listeners, 4 times Dope is signing out.
Hey, Symone, we old. We're 45.
Y'all are young, okay? People, anything under 50 is young, okay?
Right.
Anything under 50 is young, okay?
And Symone.